I think that in your when I was in high school, I would see a lot of older people, and I would wonder, like, why are you like that? You know, they seem to just have some horrible character flaws that were like glaringly obvious, and I thought to myself, how did you get that way? You know, why don't you do something else? Recently, no, okay, that's the first observation. My second hypothesis, I guess my first hypothesis, the first thing's an observation, the second thing's a hypothesis. My hypothesis is that your late teens and 20s are really challenging and turbulent because you're really trying to figure out what the fuck you want to do, and you're learning how to do relationships with people, platonic, romantic, whatever. You're learning who you are, and it's all quite difficult. And I think that there's a strong desire for stability in most people, or at least maybe not stability explicitly, but at least a way to alleviate the stress of having to learn how to do all these things, on top of like just having to make money and survive and learn how to feed yourself and groom yourself and these basic needs things. And that desire for some sort of stability, or at least an aversion to instability and the stress of being young, leads you to find band-aid solutions to a lot of these problems that serve the purpose well enough when you're in your 20s but aren't really sustainable long term. Or maybe they are sustainable, but it makes you into one of those people who, when you're in high school, you observe and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why are you like that? I'm thinking of a few teachers I had, and just older people in general, who their way of dealing with simple problems just seems shitty. You know, it's like, this isn't great for you, and it's definitely not great for the people around you. How'd you get like this? There are other explanations, of course. You know, maybe they had bad parents who they just copied those traits from. So I'm not saying this explains all bad character traits later on in life. It's just a hypothesis that I have and feel that matches up with my personal experience a lot. Recently, I've had some turbulent relationships, and I found myself wanting to just pull away from everybody in my life as a way of dealing with it, and like focusing on my work, which is the gym, streaming, and I mean that's kind of it right now. When school starts back up, that'll be my work as well, but for the moment I don't have anything like that. And I notice I'm very averse to not only asking for help. I will never ask for help, but I'm averse to even receiving help when it's offered to me. And these are both bad strategies in the long term. Like, I'm 22 now. It's not that strange that I'm not great at managing relationships or, being well-rounded. But imagine in 20 years, I'm 42 and I can't ask for help. I can't receive help like when I genuinely need it from the people around me. That seems sad. It seems like a life that I don't want to live. So, but I notice myself trying to develop these habits now. And I think there's my coffee is burning. That's what I'm smelling in the living room. Hold on. As I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by forgetting that I turned the coffee on. I forgot what I was saying. Something about it being a maladaptive strategy, and I guess just hoping to point out a warning to others that you should be really aware of the way that you're dealing with problems now, about how that is going to turn you into a person 20 years from now, or what kind of person that's going to turn you into 20 years from now. Because it hurts to go against those habits that you've learned. Like, it genuinely does not. When I say I don't like receiving help and I don't like asking for help, it's like painful for me. Like, it takes a huge mental and emotional effort to ask for help from me. And recently a friend pointed out to me that I always refuse any offerings of help whatsoever, and it's not even something I really noticed about myself. Like, she'll ask me if she can go get a drink for me from the kitchen, and I'll just say, no, I'm good. And I do that about everything. It does not matter what it is. Any single thing she offers me, I will always refuse. And it's silly. And I think it comes from a place of viewing accepting help as being the same as needing help. And I think to myself, well, if I need help, I must be flawed in some way. And I'm not flawed in some way. I don't need any help. And so I just refuse it all. That's my personal self-psychoanalysis there. Who knows how true it is, but there's a lot of little things like that, and I think I'm becoming more aware of them. Or I'm trying to, at least. And so, I don't know, wrapping up my thesis statement, to review, I think, maybe I should have said this at the beginning, but I think in high school, when you're in that stage of life where you're really just in the throes of not knowing what the fuck is going on and rejecting everything that is forced on you, at least that's what high school was like for me, you have a really good critical eye. Sometimes. You know what? Let's say this. You have a very critical eye in high school. You're really outwardly focused on tearing down the stuff that you don't like around you. And some of that doesn't serve you very well. Like, a lot of the times in high school, people pull away from their parents. Not really for any particular reason, just because that's, for whatever reason, what we do when we're in high school. We kind of push them away. Sometimes there are reasons, too, but in my case, I didn't really have a lot of reasons, and I just kind of was like, fuck everything, including you, Mom and Dad. I'm out. And also, I hate everything about you. And so sometimes the critical eye serves you well, sometimes it doesn't. But that's kind of leading into my point about the recognizing these people with these weird traits later on. Like, now I see people like that, and I don't think much of it. Or at least in the recent years, I haven't thought much about that of myself. I've developed these ways of dealing with problems, and they're not serving me very well. They're working. Like, I can live a full life and not die, just always refusing help and refusing to go about relationships in certain ways. But I don't know if it's a really great life. It could probably be better. It kind of distances you from people to refuse to accept help from them, especially when it makes them happy to help you. You're kind of lowering the quality of the overall relationship for them, or what they're getting. Maybe the richness is a better word. You're lowering the richness of the relationship for them for what? A selfish reason? Because you don't want to change and grow and learn how to fucking take a little help? This is very much about me. I don't know how much of this is going to resonate with problems that other people have. I would have thought of some other examples that don't really apply to me and that are maybe more general, but I just kind of sat down and did this on a whim because it's been on my mind. So yeah, in high school you have a very critical eye. Sometimes it's good. One of the things I noticed in high school when I was being very critical of everybody and had this kind of hypothesis start gestating in that period was that some people have personality traits or habits that seem to be not great. And it's come to a head in my own life recently where I've had some friends point out to me some things that I do that are just stupid, you know, that lower the richness of the relationship for selfish reasons. And it's not just the help thing. That's just an example that's not particularly embarrassing or personal that I'm okay with sharing. There's other stuff too. And so that's the hypothesis. Solution? I don't know. I guess just try and be more aware. Maybe ask people what they like about having a relationship with you and what they don't like. Maybe that takes a level of trust that not all relationships have for them to really be able to give you an answer. But it's worth trying. It's worth, and you don't even have to change necessarily if you really don't want to, but it's worth being aware of the things that you're doing, these habits you've developed, which may not be serving you as well as they appear to be on the surface level. So that's the video. Something I was thinking about before I go to work. Yeah.